Fellas, if you watch this video, you will make an extra $1,000 to $10,000 this Q4, I guarantee you. So without further ado, let's get stuck into the video. Now, the first thing that I want to say, guys, is during Q4, the main thing is being able to take advantage of all the traffic that's on the site. We're talking 5x plus amount of customers that are going to be rolling through Amazon, looking for gifts, etc. So it's obviously pretty important that you take advantage of this. Now, in terms of the campaigns that I'm going to be going through in this video, I don't actually use these during the year. I only use these during Q4, especially November and December. Now, the other thing is you need to be taking advantage of all marketplaces as well, not just US, but UK and Canada, and then other markets if you have translated books as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, another thing I want to add, guys, is just keeping what you currently do is best. You know, stick to what you know and how you run normally in terms of your base. But, you know, most campaigns that you run should be set at, you know, a high bid and a low bid. So for example, you already have your original base and your setup of how you run things. You've got auto campaigns, manual campaigns, etc. My advice is at least run high bid campaigns for those and a low bid campaign. So in terms of what this means, if it's a high bid, you're going to obviously increase the bid of the keywords and have a low amount, ideally, you know, 7 to 10 keywords that are pretty strong. And then with your lower bid campaign for that one, you're going to be increasing the amount of, you know, at lower costs. Now, everyone has a different base. In terms of what mine kind of looks like, guys, is, you know, I have my auto campaigns, my manual campaigns, and my product campaigns. And then when we're talking about high bids and low bids, we're looking at the range of 60 cents to 90 cents. And with the lows, we're looking at 10 cents to 30 cents. Now, keep in mind, if you are running ads on the US store, you're going to be in towards the higher range. And then, you know, outside of that, you're going to go lower. Now, you know, also, guys, I want to note, you know, this is kind of how I'm rolling with it and, you know, what I do. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different amount that they can invest and just different strategies in general. So, you know, take what you want and put your own twist in it. These numbers and these ranges aren't exact. Ads is all about testing and figuring out what works. So the first thing I'll make during Q4 is a misspelled campaign. For this one, guys, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your 10 best keywords and you're going to throw them in a software that basically gives them typos. So you basically just misspells them. So you're going to tick all these boxes here in this image and you're going to copy and paste all the keywords. It's going to spit out, you know, a bunch of words that aren't spelled correctly, basically. And you're going to make a campaign for this for an exact and phrase match with very low bids. The reason you're going to go very low is because no one's going to be doing this. So it's just an extra thing to add. And this site here that you can do it on is called adresults.com, but there's plenty of other things out there, and even ChatGPT can do this one as well. I had some success last year with a couple of these. And keep in mind, guys, not all of these are going to work. Some are going to do really well and some are going to, you know, not really perform. But that's just the nature of the game. The next one that I'd create is a boost campaign during this period. This is low bids to like 500 plus keywords, as many as you can, and use suggested keywords inside Amazon for the book. You can also use ChatGPT, Publish Rocket, BookBeam to gather all these keywords that are somewhat related to the topic of your book. And then I would just run very low bids, you know, 10 to 20 cents around that. And, you know, obviously a little lower than that in terms of being outside of the US. Now, the next one I'd run is a gifts or Christmas related type campaign. And you can go pretty broad with this if you want, and it will include lower bids. So examples are, guys, it's like gifts under $10 or gifts under $20. Stocking stuffers, secret Santa ideas, 2024 best gifts. You know, you can get creative with this. Use your brain, use ChatGPT. Like, what are people searching for when it comes to December? You know what I mean? You know, you've got all sorts of things that you can just kind of add into a campaign and see how it works. And you know, even it's just lower bids, so you're not really risking that much anyway. Another thing you can do is also kind of like add your keywords that you currently have with a longer tail touch. So if you have a book that is, you know, coloring book for kids, you could just add in a longer tail keyword that is like Christmas coloring books for kids or gifts for kids, things like this. You kind of want to just basically use common sense of and really put yourself in the shoes of like whoever your audience is, what are they typing in on Amazon during this time related to gift ideas or Christmas. The next thing is a product campaign. Now, this is already something you're probably running, and this is, you know, included in the base, but I add a little bit of a touch to it. So basically you want to do probably a higher bid campaign and a lower bid one. Just like I said before, for the higher one, I'd add in like your 10 best selling books that are the most closely related to your topic. And then for the lower bid, you can just add a bunch of books that are, you know, decently related to yours. You can use the best sellers list, go into all the categories, copy and paste them. If you have BookBeam, this process is a lot easier, guys. You can just use that software. It's just going to be so much quicker. Now, another thing I want to note is also BookBeam is good to look at history of data, guys. Now, the reason why it's important is because you might add products into your product campaign, but just because it's not selling now doesn't mean it's not going to sell in December. For example, you might set up these campaigns in October or November, but their rankings maybe aren't that good. Now, this example here is one of my books, and it was my best-selling book during December. Now, look at just the rankings outside of December. Not that great, honestly. Like some of them is like 150, 100, things like that. But in December, I got to 6,000 ranking. This isn't even a Christmas themed book. Like this is just a general book. So keep that in mind when you are searching for products to run ads to. Look at the long-term data of how it goes in December if you're creating these campaigns in October and early November. And for this one, guys, I would be using expanded and exact match for the lower bids. So just keep that in mind. Now, the next thing you can run is exact campaigns. And basically what this is expanding keywords that currently work into longer tail keywords. So let's just say you have a keyword coloring book for kids, and that is a very successful keyword. So what you should do in that scenario is go deeper and start adding in longer tail keywords around that one. So coloring books for kids ages 4 to 8, coloring books for 10-year-olds, boys, girls, toddlers, etc. Like really try and specify the audience inside that broad keyword and create an exact match. This is something that can also work as well. Test it out. Who knows? It might really do well. Sponsored brands. If you have 3 books in the same niche and you're not running sponsored brands, you're making a massive mistake. So make sure you have that sorted on all platforms, all marketplaces, and I'd run a high and a low for that one as well. Just remember, if it's high, keep it condensed, your main keywords. If it's low, you can broaden the amount of keywords that you have, and they don't have to be, you know, super specific to the topic. Next one is video ads, guys. Now, this wasn't actually a thing last Q4 because it wasn't out, but I'll be testing to see, what I can do with this Q4. Obviously, I don't have any evidence or data to back it up, but my plan for this would be video ads in every single market, a low one and a high one in every single marketplace. And then if you're someone out there that hasn't really got into this or doesn't know how to do it, you can easily get video ads sorted on Fiverr and hire someone to create that for you. Next one is in terms of scaling, guys. This is what I do. You don't have to take this seriously. As I said before, test your own, come up with your own ideas. But this is what I do. So from the 1st of October, I don't increase my bids by anything. I stay at my normal ranges as I explained to you guys before. And obviously just make sure I have my high and low bid campaigns set up around my base. I don't add in all the fancy campaigns yet. Now, come 15th of November, I'll increase all the base up to 50%. And then all of these campaigns that I just mentioned to you before that I add, they are live at this point. November 15 is when things really start to kick in. And you start to see that traffic rise. So keep that in mind. And then on the 1st of December, I'll increase by 100% my bids. And then in terms of like your campaigns, guys, they should only be down bids. So keep that one in mind. Now, with these increases, things can get a little crazy. So I would not do this unless you are planning to optimize daily. I would really recommend that you're checking your ads daily during, after November 15th. It's pretty important if you're gonna go super aggressive like what I'm talking about. Now, final tips that I just want to go through. Obviously, guys, you just really want to take advantage of the traffic here. So do your best to create these campaigns, optimize daily, invest more. Don't be afraid to lose the money. Even if you just lose a little bit or you have less profit in October and early November, because you want these books ranked at the top to take advantage of more sales during December, and that way you gain the data that you need to be able to run more solid ads. Now, the next thing I'll say is ask your friends and your family which book cover is best out of yours and the other 5 best sellers on the market. If they don't say yours, you need to update your book cover. The reason I say this is because the book covers, they're literally the most important thing. It's so much more important during Q4 because it's going to be a gift most likely. So the customer is going to pick the one that, is the one that stands out, the one that looks good. This person is giving a gift to someone. Obviously, they don't want to give them a shitty covered book. So I would do that personally. The next thing that I would do is, come the 22nd, 23rd of December, I would turn off all your ads. Everyone else is going to be maintaining high bids. It's just not going to be worth it at all. You're better off just turning it all off and starting it back in January. Obviously, just fixing up your bids because they would have been high from Q4. In terms of ACOS, the range you want to kind of be at, guys, is 25 to 30%. I think this is a good sweet spot. It's just going to drive more organic traffic, and you really want to suck out as much money as you can. Obviously, this just depends on many things, but that's kind of where I like to sit at. And then the last slide, guys, is, focus on what works and go deeper into that. Things can get a little bit messy, especially if you have a lot of books during this period. So, follow the 80-20 rule. Not all of this is going to work. And just be prepared to just turn off any campaign that's just not working. And this is definitely going to happen. If you're doing all these other fancy campaigns that I've been going through, be prepared that some of them just aren't going to work. But if you have 10% that work, they're going to work well because a lot of people aren't doing these campaigns. So keep that in mind. Another point to add is it's really important to save your data once December finishes, so you know exactly what to target the next year. This is something that people forget to do. This data is going to be erased after, I think it's 2 or 3 months on your ads dashboard. So if you don't go into, the data from December of, all your keywords, what were your most successful keywords, then you're going to lose that data. So just take the screenshots, make sure you've done that, throw it in your Google Drive, and then you come back the next Q4 and you know what worked. The last point, guys, is, this is up to you, but consider training a VA, or hiring a service to run your best 5 books from October to December, and then you handle the others. So you can either hire a VA just to manage the bulk of it or half of it at least. As I said, things get messy. This depends though on how many books you have. For me, it's a lot. So what I've done is I've hired a service to run my best 5 books from this period, and I might even add on another 5. So it's another point to add. Depends what you want to do for that one and how much you want to invest, whether you think it's worth it or whatnot. But that's what I'm doing personally. So guys, that wraps up the video of everything I do during Q4 and everything that I'm gonna set up. Hopefully you've already got books in the works and almost live at this point. I think another mistake just to add in Q4 in general, a lot of people start creating books for Q4 way too late. You need to be beginning these in June, July at the latest, so they're really optimized and ready, so when October 1st comes, they're in a good position to start making some sales. So yeah, that's it guys. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy to get back to you there. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.